Pregame presented by Active Green and Ross, streaming live at Ticats.ca, the Ticats All Access app, and of course the Ticats Audio Network. And for all of us listening to us on Radio 900 CHML, Louie B and Andy fan twos as Ticats getting set to take on the Rough Riders in Saskatchewan. And Andy, just wanted to talk to you about the crowd in Saskatchewan. And we'll get to that in just a second. But we want to be joined now by Marwan Hage, one of the all-time great offensive linemen for the Hamilton Tiger-Cats. Marwan, thanks so much for joining us tonight. You got to be excited for this one. It's always a good time when Ticats and Saskatchewan go head-to-head.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. This is always definitely a good time. It's going to be a great battle out there, especially this early in the season. Everybody's fresh, so we're going to see a lot of action here tonight.
Marwan, Andy Fantus here. I remember my first time coming into Hamilton and having you as the captain of the team, and the way I looked up to you and learned from your leadership and just your demeanor, and that was everything from practice routines to out on the road trips to preparing for a game. Getting a guy like Chris Van Zeyl back in the lineup as a 14-year vet, how much of an impact do you think that's going to be for this team coming off a loss last week?
Oh, definitely it's going to be a huge impact. I mean, not only Chris is one of the best linemen in the league, so right off the bat, you're going to have a great output on the field, but also what Chris brings to the table, like you said, the veteran leadership from the minute he shows up to the airport, to the way veterans conduct themselves. A lot of the young guys will probably, their second road trip, they just watch and learn how veteran guys do it, and they do it for such a long time. So the effect of a guy like Chris, not only on the field it's easy, he's going to do and dominate as he's always done. It's off the field with the young guys, he's going to bring them along and teach them the pro way. And you need to learn that. It takes time for young guys to really understand that, why is this guy in the league 12, 13 years? He must do things a bit different. And that's what these veteran guys will bring, and that demeanor. Going in Saskatchewan is not easy. If it's week 1, week 12, or week 14, it's a hostile environment. But the veteran guys have done it year in, year out. So it's great to have guys like that, and especially on the field. It's going to show a huge improvement on the O-line this week, definitely.
Yeah, well said. And kind of piggybacking on that, late in your career, you were passing the torch for the center position, which is really the captain of the offense, to Mike Filer. And he held that torch for many years, and this year passing it to Sirocco. What do you think that is like for the offense, for Mazzoli and the offense as a whole? How much difference in adaptation is needed in a scenario like that?
It takes a little bit. It just takes time. Sirocco's able to play, and that's why he got it, and that's why Mike probably prepped him in the last few years to get him to that point. The kid is ready to play. It just takes time to gel. Mazzoli's probably very comfortable with him. Probably was comfortable with him last year, because usually the backup centers always take reps. So, but it's just getting everybody gelled in. And usually when you switch at center, you can be the best center in the world. It still will take you the same amount of time, a week to even 3 weeks, to get everybody on the same station, like we said. So I'm not too concerned. I think for me, when I start working with Mike was great, and he helped me prepare for the games. By doing that, he learned how to prepare himself. And then when I stepped out, I was very happy. And then the fact that he had such a long, great career, it made me proud that, hey, at least I trained him right, I prepped him right, and I can see the stuff he was doing, stuff that I used to do. You're proud of yourself as a veteran guy stepping out, that you left some kind of legacy on the field, not just in figure of speech. And but at time, people just need to be patient. Whenever a new center comes in, it just takes a week or two to get all the things tuned in. But now, especially having Chris back, that's going to help your center, because he's going to take some calls away. He's going to help him early on figure out the defense. That's the biggest problem, is when, to be able to recognize what defense is in front of you during the game, because they switch so fast. Sometimes they'll switch 4 seconds or 3 seconds before you snap the ball. So.
Ticats legend Marwan Hage, our guest here on Tiger-Cats Pregame, presented by Active Green and Ross. And to that point, Marwan, on the other side in Saskatchewan, Brett Boyko was supposed to be lining up at left tackle, and he was going to be going up against Ted Laurent, Jagarrett Davis, Simone Lawrence. A tough task for any experienced CFL player. He's sick, so Andrew Lauderdale is making his Canadian football debut. And going up against, again, those guys of the Ticats, just how difficult of a spot is he being put in, and how can the Ticats take advantage of the inexperience at that left tackle spot?
Well, anytime you go against Ted Laurent, it's a challenge, even if you're a rookie or you're a 13 vet. I remember going in the scouting department with the Ticats and saying, guys, please draft this guy, this guy's special. That's before he even stepped in the CFL. It's very, very hard for a rookie offensive lineman to come out first week and make a splash, no matter how good you are. And these veteran defensive linemen, they know what they're doing. They're going to set him up. You know, I've been on that side. Same as veteran offensive linemen do the same thing. They're going to set up that rookie. You know, they're going to set him up for the second quarter, third quarter, where the fourth quarter, you're going to see a lot of mistakes from him. They're going to weigh him down. Early on, the kid's going to be fresh. That's just by experience. But I think the D-line probably is excited. It's always fun to face a rookie and you know, and perform. Now on the other, if you take it lightly and the rookie has a great game, doesn't look good on you. So, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, you have to be ready to play Teddy Laurent. You just can't just walk in on the field and expect it to be an easy matchup. From his rookie year, he's been amazing till now.
I love the complexity of the mind games that go throughout a game between the offensive and defensive line. Kind of to switch gears a little bit, I wanted to ask you if you had any memories or experiences from Ivor Wynne Stadium that really stand out to you.
Definitely. I mean, I personally loved Ivor Wynne because that's all I knew when I played. I remember my first day walking into Ivor Wynne. I thought that was the low point of my football career because we walked in the old locker room with the old carpet and it was rainy, so the stadium was leaking into the locker, and they gave me a stool next to the garbage in the middle of the locker. So I'm like, oh boy, I hit rock bottom. This is it. But then you fall in love with the place. You know, Ivor Wynne was a magical place. It was rough. Everything about it was steel and Hamilton. You know, it resembled what Hamilton wanted to be at the time and what they wanted their team to be. So I loved Ivor Wynne. And the new stadium is even better. I never played in it. I miss Ivor Wynne, but I'm happy that the change happened. The new stadium is amazing. I wish I could have played there. But Ivor Wynne gave you character. And the visitors' locker room was horrible. I mean, thank God I never played in Ivor Wynne as a visitor. I'm lucky, but I've walked in it during practice. Oh my God, it was disastrous. So that was good for us.
Speaking of new stadiums, of course, Mosaic Stadium, I believe, I don't think you got a chance to play there, but you obviously played at Taylor Field in Saskatchewan. It's such a hostile crowd. Just talk a little bit about that, about going in to Saskatchewan as the enemy, and especially for young players who haven't been out there, maybe some youth sports guys who probably haven't played in front of crowds like this before. Just how intimidating is that Saskatchewan crowd for new players?
Well, it's intimidating for everybody. My last game in the CFL was the Grey Cup in Saskatchewan. We always had battles there, and it's I remember when Andy was in Saskatchewan, as an air show every week. So they have a lot of fun. They feed off their crowd. It's a great stadium. It's a great crowd. They can get hostile on you, but it's within limits. So you're not. There's no fear, but it's loud. It's very loud, and these guys love their football. They love their riders. You just got to go in and take care of what you have to. Turnover, communication, and usually if you score early or you shut them off. And I think the Ticats are they're primed for that. You saw that in the first game. I think Masoli, he's at the prime of his career. Banks is unbelievable. I mean, I rank Banks as one of my favorite Ticats of all time. I played with him early on in his career, but I played with a lot of great guys, and a lot of great guys came before, and I ranked Banks as top Ticat of all time. as far as excitement, how good he prepares, how well he plays. So if the boys go out there and respond well and play firm early, that crowd will eventually quiet down. So it's a great environment for anybody, opposing team or local team. So I encourage it.
When playing with that loud crowd as an offensive lineman, and especially a center, how much does that affect the way that you approach the snap, the few seconds before the snap? Because nowadays you want to have your center kind of staying with his eyes downfield to watch any last-minute shifts that happen on the front seven, and you usually have the guard kind of giving you a little tap on the leg to snap the ball. How much does that play a factor in just the overall rhythm and in execution of the offensive line?
You're bringing nightmares to my life right now, because that was my last game in the Grey Cup in Saskatchewan, -30. I couldn't hear nothing. I couldn't see nothing. It's a very, very hard thing to do. Any center will tell you that. You just have to usually trust the calls of your guard, who will kind of guide you, and eventually the veteran offensive lineman on the line will make some of these calls, because you have to look in between your legs, wait for the tap, read the defense, snap the ball, and then play. So it's a challenging time, I'm not going to lie. But a lot of these guys have been in this environment. Maybe not this year, but they have been in their career. They've been in the show. And guess what? Mistakes will probably happen, and that's fine. That's part of the whole journey and part of the game, up and flow. There will be some miscommunication, and that's why you have home crowd advantage, and Saskatchewan feeds off that. And hopefully by the time the Ticats start playing at home, everything will be somewhat to normal, have a full stadium, and then they'll win that home advantage. But it's going to be a challenging game for the center no matter what, based on communication. The key for center is to be able to communicate. But having Van Zeyl back, he'll take a lot of pressure off the center, just to be able to at least just give him the front. If you can give the center the front, he'll know what calls to do.
Marwan, one more quick here before we let you go. I'm very fortunate to get to be teammates with Andy Fantuz. I know you were teammates with Andy for a few years. Do you have any advice for me when it comes to working with a guy like Andy?
Well, playing with Andy and playing against Andy, I hated playing against him because he ruined a lot of games that, I personally thought we could have won. He's ready to go, man. Andy's been a professional on every level, and he performs at a high level at everything he does in life. That's why I always admired, and I think he just come ready, because he knows his football, he knows his receivers, he knows his DBs, he knows the game. And, you can see by the way he played this game, he was always in the right position, and those, magical fingers, how big they are. I don't know, just don't be around him. If you get slapped, you're going to get hurt.
Hoping he doesn't get too excited in the booth here for those big games.
Know. You never know. He was I love the time we signed him with us, and he played with us, and it was amazing, man. It's good to play with great players.
Well said. Marwan, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me. Go Cats. Looking forward to a great game tonight.
Marwan, always a pleasure, buddy. It's great to hear you, and looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks when we're back at Tim Hortons Field.
Definitely. Thanks, guys.
Marwan Hage, an all-time Ticats great here, and looks like I got my work cut out for me here, right? Working alongside you based on that advice, and there wasn't a lot of high-fiving in the booth here after week one, so I do have to be careful. That first really pumped up Andy high five, I'm actually a little worried about now.
I'll keep that in mind. Won't go too crazy. Don't worry.
All right, don't go anywhere. Tiger-Cats pregame presented by Active Green and Ross rolls along here. Coming up next, we're going to get Speaking with the Enemy as we're joined by Luke Molinder from 620 CKRM in Saskatchewan. Get his thoughts on tonight's game. This is Tiger-Cats pregame presented by Active Green and Ross, streaming live across the Ticats audio network.